Hey everybody, this is Wyatt McAfee with Elevate Real Estate Group, and we're back with another 417 market report, keeping you in the know on what is happening in real estate in your backyard. This week, we'd like to talk about some simple things such as interest rates, the Federal Reserve, and a couple of other nuances when it comes to your local market, where we're seeing the most activity and how this could impact you and your potential real estate plans between now and the end of the year. For those of you who aren't paying attention, the Federal Reserve voted this week again to hold interest rates steady, which, while at the end of the day, everybody's got their interpretation on whether they're for that or against it. What that means for you is we're probably not going to see any interest rate changes in the near future. So if you're thinking about buying a home, this is obviously going to impact your decisions. However, that being said, we are still seeing a lot of activity, especially in specific parts of our market. Looking at the reports right now, we're seeing the strongest activity in the $200,000 to $250,000 range, and then from $300,000 to $400,000 actually, and that's only by a couple of house difference. So if you're thinking about buying, obviously you're going to be dealing with the most competition, and we're still seeing a lot of healthy activity happening in those parts of the market if you're looking at those particular price ranges. On the inverse, if you're considering selling and your house kind of falls into these price ranges, what that tells you is you still have a strong buyer market who's potentially looking at your home, and we want to make sure that we prep and structure the sale of that home correctly to take advantage of the part of our market where there's the most activity. For those of you who fall outside of those ranges, there are a lot of diverse numbers that we could still go over, look at the different activity. Right now, we're seeing some slowdown, particularly in the higher priced homes here locally, again in the 417. With that being said, obviously there are still buyers out there. Now is the time to make sure that you're having important conversations with your agent when it comes to your listing strategy to make sure that you're optimizing things to take advantage of those buyers who are still moving in that part of the market. So at the end of the day, what does this mean for all of you who are potentially considering a move this year in 2026? What this really boils down to is, obviously, for the last couple of years, interest rates have been a big part of the conversation when it comes to your potential real estate plans. Now more than ever, though, what we want to see is you taking advantage of the right strategy and the right people in your corner to make sure that your house is getting sold. If you're thinking about making a move, what I would encourage you to do is talk to your agents about what their marketing strategy is to make sure that your home is getting the exposure that it needs, not just to stand out amongst its competition, but to also have the greatest impact on that limited number of buyer pools if you're not in one of the parts of the market that is moving consistently right now. For those of you who are in the consistent part of the market, now is more than ever an important time to make sure that you're having conversations with your agent to understand the strategy involved, because if you're primed for the busier part of the market and you're not seeing the activity that you want, you got to have a conversation about why. Education is a huge part of what we do here at Elevate Real Estate Group. We want to make sure that buyers and sellers are informed not just of the strategy behind our motivation in selling their home, but also how we're going to utilize our tools and resources to make sure that we are marketing your home and competing amongst your competition at the best of our capability. If you're curious about buying or selling, obviously there's a lot of nuances that go into this conversation. When I'm talking to people about market rates and trends, currently I usually ask them, do you want the 30-second version or the 30-minute version? Because it's hard to unpack all the finer nuances that might impact your decision. But what I would say is now is the time to have a conversation with agents, whether you're planning on moving now, 6 months from now, or even a year from now. Information is becoming more and more available, but it's also harder to interpret with all the voices that are out there on the internet. And you want a trusted local source who is prepared to walk you through the process, give you the statistics and the information, and back it up with a proven game plan where they're going to prepare you for success in every way possible. We want to make sure that your home buying or selling journey is something that you look back on positive, not just at the closing table, but 5 years from now. Again, I'm Wyatt, and this is your 417 Market Report. We can't wait to chat with you about it again next week.